We don't care who likes it or not, as long as we know it's the truth. As long as we know it's the truth.
See, John, JFK, our first Catholic president. John was the most charismatic of the presidents and had great support from the American people, and he felt that he could defy the international bankers and get away with it. He wasn't just killed because he was favoring some rights for black people. The president has power to just, with an executive order, make a law. I'm almost finished. Executive Order 11110, signed into law early 1963. Where with the stroke of his pen, he took away the power of the Federal Reserve to print the money. And he, John Kennedy, boy, this is something. He put $4 billion into circulation in $2 and $5 denominations, but all $4 billion was backed by silver. 6 months later, like it was with Lincoln, he was shot down in Dealey Plaza. You see, the international bankers must not be defied because they run presidents and kings.
This is very, very serious. There's a lot of people dying today because of that huge law that he broke. And I don't think he should get by with it. I don't think any of those guys in there. And he's not the only one. You know, he's just the puppet on the string. There's a lot of people telling him what to do, and they're using small words and big letters so he can get it said. But there's people behind him telling him what to do.
Would you like to see the New World Order puppeteers controlling the marionette to be brought to justice as well, Willie?
I think they have to. You just can't bring in the puppet. You got to bring in the guys pulling the strings, and that's going to be harder to do because it looks like the closer we get to impeachment, all the guys out there pulling the strings are ready to throw George under the bus and let him ride all the heat. But I don't think that's enough. I think we have to go further than that and dig deeper and go back and find out who all is involved here and make them all come to step up to the bar and tell us why they did what they did.
You know, that's a great point. I'm going to skip this break for the folks watching on PrisonPlanet.tv and for the radio folks out there, and then we're going to go to break at the bottom of the hour and come back and take some phone calls. I really cannot overstate how much courage that Congressman Dennis Kucinich has, and we all need to be praying for him and supporting him and demanding not just that Congress support impeachment, but that the media pay attention to what's happening. Willie, I mean, that's another big area here. Our press wasn't perfect back in the 70s, back in 73, 74, but at least they did cover the investigation and the movement towards impeachment with Richard Nixon. I think that's the missing link here, is that the media, you're seeing almost no coverage of what Congressman Kucinich and all of his co-sponsors are doing.
Well, yeah, that's another problem that we have is getting the message across, because the media people seem to be happy just telling the other side. There's they know that they'll get in trouble themselves. They'll lose their jobs if they start talking like you and I are doing. But if they signed up to be a news person, I think they should, go on up and do what they're supposed to do. Some of them are doing it. It's not all the media is laying down, rolling over, and there's a lot of good people in radio that are speaking out, and a lot of people on the internet. I think we have more ways to fight back today than we did 50 years ago. So I think with you doing what you're doing and all the other guys chipping in, every little bit helps. And if we keep pointing out what's going on, and if we keep putting cameras on them, if we keep telling people what they're doing, maybe we can stop them from doing something really bad between now and Election Day.
Well, that's my point, and the point that you and many others have made, is that there is this incredible danger. If they've got the will to orchestrate a 9/11 style attack, if they have the will to carry out all these chemical and biological and radiological tests on the people, or the will to ship in these dangerous narcotics for our school children and then run the phony war against it, they're capable of doing anything. And you're right, we can't just remove the puppets. We have to, once and for all, smoke the dark spiders, the corporate chieftains, out of their holes that have been engineering all this.
You're absolutely right, and I think Dennis is taking a giant step forward in giving that a chance to happen every time he steps up there and reads another article of impeachment.
We're going to come back because right now we're behind the scenes for folks on the internet. We're going to be back in about a minute and a half to the full audience, Willie, and I want to get back into what's happening with Iran and Iraq and get your take on that. But shifting gears into the economy, you've involved with Farm Aid and so much more, aware of how this international banks, central banks operate. We've got the IMF and World Bank documents where they admit they are engineering the implosion in our economy so they can consolidate wealth and basically repossess America, come in and buy all of our companies, Anheuser-Busch, real estate, car companies. Willie Nelson, what's your take on that? What's happening right now with the economy?
Well, I can see where they've done it with the farmers. We used to have 8 million small family farmers out there, and through various techniques, illegal and whatever, they have taken back over 6 million of those small family farms, and they've done it by doing exactly what you said. They dropped the prices on everything, putting farmers out of business all over the world, just so they can pick up the land and use it to their advantage. The big corporations want to do it all. They want to put all the small family farmers out of business. And I still think that this whole thing, our entire economy, that agriculture is the bottom rung on our economic ladder, and the farmer is our backbone of that economic ladder. So we have to bring the farmer back, the small family farmer. We have to start thinking locally, sustainable agriculture, take away our needs for importing, like T-Bone Pickens said, $700 billion worth of oil every year from foreign countries. We could be making it ourselves out of wind, solar, biodiesel, ethanol. We can do it all in 20, 30 years. We can take ourselves off of oil completely. In the meantime, we can drop our dependency just by changing over, doing this and doing that.
Okay, Willie, I hate to interrupt you when you're on a roll. We're coming back to the main audience. Before you leave, let's get back into that, okay? Here we go.
And when the war is over and we've won it, let's remember how we done it so we don't have to do it again. There is a peaceful solution.
I love rodeos, and I go to 4 or 5 a year. And it's great to go to a rodeo where Willie Nelson's playing, because instead of having a bunch of pro-war propaganda wrapped in the flag, you get a real patriot, a real Texan who really loves liberty. And to see tens of thousands of people at the Austin Rodeo, Star of Texas Rodeo, singing along to that, instead of going to, say, the Teague Rodeo with my family, where my family's from out in East Texas. And I mean, we're talking 20 minutes of government worshiping, war worshiping, stuff, but it was totally hollow and nobody was even buying into it there. And we're back live with Willie Nelson. Take your calls in the next segment, and also later before he leaves us, get some into his solutions with agriculture and trying to save the family farm, because his Farm Aid this year is coming up as well, and give out some of his websites for you. Again, Willie, it's just wonderful and precious to be having this time with you. Jesse Ventura, since you last came on the show and went public for 9/11 Truth, Jesse Ventura came on the show and then told me behind the scenes, he goes, look, I want to come out for 9/11 Truth. You gave me films years ago when I was in Texas visiting with Willie Nelson and Kinky Friedman. When I saw him at an event, he said, but now I've looked into it. It's an inside job. He went public. And even Fox News had trouble attacking him. Now we've had the former Italian president, who was also the head of intelligence, go public. German defense ministers, leaders in the Japanese Diet, their parliament. We've had Actress of the Year go public. I mean, it is just a mass of prominent people. CIA section chiefs going public. What is it like to see this type of courage, Willie?
Well, it's great. And, we do know that there are some strong people in this country and around the world who will stand up for what's right, and it's always gratifying to see a guy jump up and say what he thinks, and stand up for what he believes is right. And I can see more and more people doing that these days, and it is very gratifying.
I don't think that the ring knockers, the establishment individuals, thought that we would have this much courage, or that this many prominent people like Willie Nelson and Jesse Ventura and so many others, Martin Sheen, right before he died, George Carlin. I'm going to send you my new film. Have you seen George Carlin talk about 9/11 being an inside job?
No, I haven't, but I would love to see that.
It's just incredible, Willie. I mean, I know I'm kind of in awe here. It's just we have to realize how positive it is that there are a lot of good Americans and others standing up.
Well, yeah, and it's when you look at it for what it is, it's no big deal. It's somebody did something wrong, and somebody needs to be outed for it. And once you look at all the facts and see the pictures and hear all the stories, it doesn't take a German scientist to realize that, hey, we got hit, by some inside people there. We need to find out who it is, and we need to find out quickly so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's so horrible, but it's so obvious, it's so simple, and you're saying the emperor has no clothes, and more people are saying it. Willie, what has the response been like since you came on my radio show twice, and then on of course, Free Speech TV and Democracy Now!, and, question the official fable? What has the response been like from your fans, from your supporters, and your detractors?
99% in favor of what we've been saying, and 100% of ours believing that we have the right to say it. There's nobody that said, hey, shut up. There's been a couple...